Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello all, and welcome to this video. And this is a video response to Bighustle, who did a video response to Rohstyles. If you have never seen either of their videos, definitely check out. Probably never seen Bighustle's because this was his first video. Rohstyles, though, it's been around for a while. Definitely go check. And this was, Bighustle did a video response to Rohstyles. Rohstyles' video was about what he didn't like about TNA. Bighustle did a video response explaining what he felt people nitpicked a little too much about TNA and kind of things that he disagreed with, that type of things. He brought up, it was an excellent video. He brought up lots of good points, very nice formatted. I could go on and on just about the video. Didn't agree with everything he said, but that's okay because it was still a very good video, and I think he made very good points, and I think it was just something everybody should see and check out. So definitely go check out that video, then come back and check back this, because this is a response to some of the things he said and some things that I kind of disagree with, per se. Okay, he started off by talking about people griping that TNA brings in older stars and they shouldn't bring in WWE, WCW stars and all of that, and the fact that, you know, they've always done this. And he's right, they have. If you go back to when they started, they centered the company about pretty much around the fact that they did bring in lots of guys who were, you know, not in WWE anymore, or guys that were cast-offs who, you know, were from WCW that WWE didn't want, or ECW that WWE didn't want. So you had the second promotion, which, as he stated, was kind of needed. Though I do think that a second promotion would have wound up sooner or later, because you had too many guys with too big names who were just out there roaming around, and Fox or somebody would have thrown money at a promotion to eventually start one up. So he is right there, though I would say that, you know, they did a better job then of focusing on the X Division, giving the X Division time, and kind of centering the company around the X Division, but having, you know, the big name talent be what drew people in to watch the X Division, and then you watch the X Division, and that's kind of what got you hooked. At least that's the way that I see it. They pushed the X Division. They brought in guys just to work the X Division. I think the X Division was better then. That's why. And then it doesn't work now so much of bringing in some of these guys, because they're bringing in the wrong types of guys. There's nothing wrong with bringing in Angle, Booker T, Rob Van Dam. If they would have brought in Chris Jericho, I have nothing wrong with that. Now with Christian Cage, I'm a little because I think they centered the company too much around Christian Cage when they had other guys they could have centered the company around, and just brought Christian as a guy that people could have just came in and said, hey, look, I remember that guy, and then, you know, they could have learned about the other talent that they had. He brought up the fact that, you know, you bring in, you know, I would say if you're going to bring in older guys, bring them in to do the right thing, which is to help out the younger guys, help give the younger guys a rub, similar to what Nash did with Shelley and Starr with the whole Paparazzi Productions thing, which was very funny, very good. It was probably some of the best stuff TNA has done, in my opinion, and it's unfortunate that they just never went anywhere with it, because I think it really could have gone far. It was something that definitely worked for TNA. And I think that's the type of thing that if they're going to bring in these guys who are big names, that's the kind of, particularly the guys that don't necessarily have a good work rate, you know, Nash, Hall, guys like that, who are definitely entertaining and definitely can work the mic, that they need to use them in a context of somehow feuding them or somehow teaming them up with some of the younger guys to help the younger guys get over. He also brought the fact that he was kind of irked that a lot of people always bring up the fact that you know, shouldn't have brought in Angle, and anybody that would say they shouldn't have brought in Angle is kind of dumb. I think they should have waited until he cleaned up his act a little bit and got clean before they brought him in, but you can't deny the fact that they should have brought in Angle. I think bringing Angle was a good thing. I don't like the fact that they just threw him out there, put him against Joe, and just made him, you know, put him over Joe right away. I think they should have worked that up a bit, particularly since I think Joe was the guy that, particularly as far as homegrown talent, was their biggest name as far as homegrown talent that they've had, except for AJ and even Monty Brown, who I think could have been the biggest, most popular guy they would have had if they would have ran with him. But, you know, I think they completely dropped the ball with Monty Brown, with Jeff Jarrett just kind of wanting to hold the title and not realizing, hey, let's give it to Monty Brown. Let's have Monty Brown run with it, because he definitely would be, he would have been able to do more with the title than Jarrett would have been. And that's one of the reasons why I think Monty Brown should have been given the title. Let's see. He brought up Sting and the fact that people kind of gripe about Sting, and I kind of agree with him there. I think Sting has put on good matches. My problem with Sting, though, is they haven't put him in the right kind of feuds. You know, the only people that he's really feuded with is Christian, Jeff Jarrett, and Kurt Angle. They were going to do a feud with Christopher Daniels and didn't do it, but that's the kind of feuds I think they should be doing. Is if you want to get, you know, to elevate a guy, have him feud with Sting to help elevate him up to higher up on the card. And they don't do enough of that with Sting. I don't think they've done enough of it with the Steiners either, for that matter, or Team 3D. Though it looks like they might be starting to do that, but they just haven't been doing that. And that's the type of thing they need to be, because a lot of these guys, you know, aren't going to be in the business that much longer. So they do need to do a better job of using those guys to help make the stars of the future, in my opinion. I have the same problem with that with WWE, though, so I think that's just a wrestling issue. He then talked about Spike's influence on TNA and the fact that, you know, Spike probably wanted TNA to go after some of these guys, and I agree with him. And you know, and I have, like I said, I have no problem with them going after them, but they have to go after the right guys, and they also have to do a better job then with telling Spike, hey, we'll go after these big names, but you have to understand we have to use them in this way or the product isn't going to be very good. And if we use them in this way, there's a better chance that the ratings will increase, and that's what we all want anyways. So I think they do have to do a better job of kind of explaining things to Spike, and if, you know, unless they agree with what Spike's saying, and then, you know, TNA has all sorts of problems, in my opinion. He also talked about the fact that back when a lot of us really liked TNA, the main event situation was not in the best of shape. And I agree, the main event situation was pretty horrible. You had Jarrett had the title for far too long. Brown was definitely the most over guy, but they didn't pull the trigger on Brown. I think that ended up hurting him. And also you had AJ, Daniels, and Joe, which he stated went on probably too long, and I agree. I think that I centered the X Division around those three guys and never brought anybody else in. And then when Joe left, you basically then they took AJ and Daniels and they stuck them in a tag team, and you had no one really left for the X Division. I think it would have been better if they would have, you know, you could have still centered the division around those three guys, but you could have brought in Sabin or Shelley or somebody else, and kind of, you know, so that when Joe left, you could bring in somebody else. When you put AJ and Daniels in a tag team together, you could have brought in some other guys in it, and maybe you would have taken a little hit, because those guys definitely were not as over as either of these three, but it would have helped the product a lot more. And I do agree with that. That's really the only real issues I had with what he said. He said he was going to talk about the ratings too, and I really hope. I'm really looking forward to that, because he sounds very intelligent. The video was very good. Definitely go check it out. It was excellent stuff. Other than that, that's all I got. I just wanted to kind of do this as a way to enlighten you people on this guy, because he was an excellent video. Also check out Rohstyles' video if you've never seen his stuff. It's good stuff. I'm out. Have a good one, and later.
Let's ride.